Good morning.
Hey.
It is time to skip the BS, time for Undisputed, time for you to hit us up at hashtag Undisputed Live. We will get to LeBron's historically great and historically bad night in just a few minutes. Only LeBron could go greatest, worst, all at once. But we'll talk to John Sally about that. He'll join us to go deeper into all of the above. But now it is time for me to welcome my guys, Richard Sherman and Keyshawn Johnson, to talk a little Justin Fields and Caleb Williams. Good morning to you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Skip.
Good morning.
Richard. All right, here we go.
Good morning, Skip.
I like the fascination about Caleb Williams. It's great. Heisman Trophy, USC, quarterback, Oklahoma, Lincoln Riley, throws it all over the lot, can move around, looks like Patrick Mahomes. I get it.
That was a pretty good description, actually.
I get it, though, Skip, but no, they should not. And here's why. Here's a quarterback that has had multiple offensive coordinators and head coaches in a 3-year span. This is really his second year. And what I mean by that, his first year, he just in and out, whatever, Mitch, who's got up the loop, all these different quarterbacks. Now, all of a sudden, he gets an opportunity to start. First-time head coach, first-time offensive coordinator. Then his second year in the situation, he doesn't have any real wide receivers. DJ Moore's the only guy.
I mean, he's real.
No, I'm saying real wide receivers.
Okay.
DJ Moore's the only guy.
Yeah.
He's out there with St. Brown and you know, Tunyon the tight end, and then there's Mooney. I mean, like, think about it, Skip. What has he done so egregious with all the different stuff that's going on in Chicago that you want to move on from him in year 2? Imagine if Trevor Lawrence, did not get Doug Peterson at the quarterback position. I mean, as a head coach to coach him up at the quarterback position.
Yep.
Imagine that. What would we be saying about Trevor Lawrence? What would we be saying about Josh Allen if Brandon Beane didn't realize, I need to go get him a playmaker in Stephon Diggs? Because early on in Buffalo, they were scratching their head about what Josh Allen really was. So when you start to think about these young quarterbacks, because I continue to try to educate people to understand, situations and circumstances are important with young quarterbacks. And until you get something and put them around that will make them successful, you are always going to scratch your head. You say, well, last night he had 2 fumbles, had nothing to do with. Okay, well, that is true. He fumbled twice. They didn't lose the game. He had 13 attempts to his number 1 guy who had 11 receptions.
He did.
Imagine if he had a half of DJ Moore on the other side of DJ Moore. Imagine what that would look like. And you got to think about it, though, Richard. If he had a half of DJ Moore on the other side, imagine what he would look like. Brock Purdy looks like Brock Purdy because he's got Ayuk, he's got Kittle, he's got an offensive mind in Shanahan, he's got CMC,
he's got
Deebo Samuel. I mean, I can go on and on. He got a left tackle. I can go on and on and on. So I'm not, because Caleb is going to be in the same situation. He's going to a bad team in a bad situation. Now, I'm going to trust Ryan Poles to do the right thing in terms of using these picks smartly. Because the guy that I would go get for him, the number 1 guy I would go get, whether it's at the first pick or the 4th pick, is Marvin Harrison Jr.
You just interviewed him.
That's the one guy I'm going to get out of all the receivers in college football. I'm grabbing him.
Would you take him first?
Yeah, I probably would, depending on what my needs are. Do I think he's going to be there at 4? Probably not, because the Cardinals need him at 2.
They do.
So if the Cardinals take him at 2, then I can't get him at 4. So I probably would do that at 1. I probably would, because I think I got my quarterback. Now I need to surround him with some playmakers.
Go, Richard.
Well, I'm with you, Key. I think it depends on what you do with the coach situation. If you keep the same head coach, then you got to keep Justin Fields, because what's the point of bringing Caleb Williams into this situation? It's going to be the same result. I think you build around him. It's something Andrew Whitworth said on TNF when we had the Bears game. Yeah, I'm still fighting
don't
this
worry
off.
about me, man. That's good.
Oh, my God. Fighting. But It's something Andrew Whitworth said. You should build the defense up, trade the first pick, gain a lot more picks. Maybe don't move too far, though. Second, third pick, and then build the team around him so you have a strong team around him, because that's how championship teams are built. You have great foundational pieces. We talk about how the Houston Texans are building. They have the tackle, the corner, the quarterback, the DN. I mean, that's how you build winning football. So until you build great team around him, I mean, it really doesn't matter who the quarterback is. He can't do it all by himself.
So, Keyshawn,
Yes,
are
sir.
you sure you're not speaking with heart overhead? Are you sure it's not because you just don't want Caleb in Chicago?
No.
You don't want him with those sad sack bears like Justin is stuck with right now?
No, because I honestly, Skip, I honestly believe that Justin Fields is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams.
You do?
I honestly
Really?
believe that.
I'm shocked you're saying
No, I honestly believe he's bigger, faster, stronger. He's got a crazy arm. But when you're not Skip,
Yeah.
here's what I'm going to say, man. I hate to bring it to myself, but I have to, because that's the reality of it, and I've lived it. When I had Richie Kotite as my coach, okay, I wouldn't be sitting here with you. I mean, that's just a reality. I got Bill Parcells and died and went to heaven because he knew what to do with me. He understood. And that's important when you got young quarterbacks. Look, whether they keep Eberflus or not, they need to figure out, Skip, on an offensive step, what can this quarterback do so well that we can continue to win? Because what you don't want to do if you're Ryan Poles is move him, and he goes to Sean McVay. I'm just using Sean McVay as an example. He goes to Sean McVay. And all of a sudden, you look up and you go, damn, what did I just do? When I'm not really looking at it the way I need to, which is it's only his second year as a full-time starter. That's it.
Okay. Here's my take on Justin Fields, and this is why I would take Caleb over Justin. And I have high regard for Justin because he has shown me again and again, late in these games, as he did last night.
Yes.
He's got football toughness and character about him because he had to pick himself up off the mat after losing 2 fumbles. What time was it? It was with 9.5 minutes left, and then he lost another one at 3:30. I think we've been showing those. But these are game wreckers. These are can't do it on the road and get away with it kind of turnovers that should have lost the game. But the Bears defense hung in. As I mentioned in the open, Joshua Dobbs had fallen back to earth. He was having an awful night and just he could not pick himself up off the mat. And all of a sudden, Justin Fields gets a shot late, and he took advantage. But what happened on those 2 big pass plays? It's the first play of the drive. Let's look at it to DJ. And then the 3rd and 10 play. The first play, he bolts up. He scrambles up to the left, and he's on the run across his body.
Bam.
He actually threw it behind DJ, though. He threw it behind him. DJ made a nice sort of turn and catch. And then there's the 3rd and 10. And he also threw that behind him. Those were not accurate throws, but DJ caught both of them.
Well, that's what the
he
receiver's
was wide
supposed to
open.
do. If it's in your catch radius, you need to catch it.
All right. But what have I said about Justin from the start? He is not a consistently accurate thrower of the football. He's got a nice arm, give you that, but not
Skip,
consistently accurate with the football. And I've watched him obviously I watched him at Ohio State.
Not you, but many people. And you may be in this bunch, I don't know. But many people said the same thing early on about Lamar Jackson. He's not an accurate thrower.
No,
He's
I never heard
no,
accurate.
No. Many people said he was not an accurate thrower. And I just want to, only reason why I stopped you there is to bring that up.
I mean, people would say it looked awkward throwing the football, but
they said
he was throwing darts.
too. No, they said, me and you see darts, but other people said he was inaccurate.
Okay, and then he won the MVP.
I mean, the same thing they said about Josh Allen. I mean, he was throwing the ball high.
Yeah.
He was throwing the ball
Sometimes
really hard, no
go.
touch.
Yeah. I just see it more consistently inaccurate with Justin than consistently accurate. That would scare me for the long haul. The long haul.
But Skip,
you might sit back in 3 years and say, you know what? He just doesn't throw it cleanly enough and consistently enough to win at the highest level.
But coming out of college, coming out of college, these were the things that were said about him. Oh, he's done. He done processed the information correctly. How can you process the information correctly if you continuing to change me with head coaches and coordinators, and I don't have any help around me?
Yeah.
You get me DJ Moore, so now I got to force feed him.
Yeah.
Okay, which I am. And yeah, a couple of those passes are slightly thrown behind DJ, but as long as it's in the catch radius, it's not thrown behind him.
DJ's not Keyshawn. He's not 6'4". You know, he's a smaller receiver. And he was able to swing and turn and catch and pivot and catch.
Are you going to get 12 attempts for 100 yards from Caleb Williams in the National Football League on the ground when you don't have a running game? No, but you're going to get it from him.
He is the running game. Justin is. And by the way, he takes my breath away every time I watch him because he has that effortless acceleration that sort of, you can't even sort of see it with the naked eye. He's at top, he's a long strider, and once he hits top speed, I was saying last year, he looks like Eric Dickerson to me once he gets rolling because he is a threat down the field to run with the football for a long way.
And the second fumble was a careless mistake.
It was.
Not realizing you're trying to do too much and not realizing there's somebody coming from behind and they're going to come every single time. And Richard played defense, he can tell you this.
Yeah.
When you're not paying attention and the defender's coming from behind, you're going to probably fumble.
There you go.
No question. And they're going for the football. But I think, to your point, Keyshawn, they got to get a tackle and they get Marvin Harrison Jr. I think then you start talking about an offense that can do some damage.
Okay, now back to Caleb. And obviously, I've watched him very closely because he was at my school I grew up loving, Oklahoma. Keyshawn,
he was there for one semester. Relax.
One semester. It was some semester ago. Whew. He walked on the field in the Texas game, and before I knew it, he's going to 80 yards for a touchdown. Okay, so what do I see from Caleb? He's not the tallest guy. No. He's about 6-ish feet, right around 6 feet, but he is stout. He's got a power base.
Nice trunk.
It's a little more like Jalen Hurts, a little more, not quite that strong. But listen, you want to talk, as you know, you want to talk escapability. You want to talk about playmaking. You want to talk about rocket arm. He has got a flat-out bazooka. He can fling it from any position off platform. He can throw it 70 yards, and he made some plays even this year that were Mahomes-esque, where you just say, I don't know how you stop that, right?
And what I would say, Skip, it's not that I love Caleb. I wish he would come back, but I don't want him coming back. I want him to go get his money. But at the same time, I don't need to move off of Justin Fields for Caleb. We're not. This isn't Mac Jones we're talking about. This is not one of those situations.
No, I give you that. But we're talking about a cut above in Caleb. And look, this year I thought he tried to live up to the Heisman that he won last year. And my issue with him is that he won't throw it on time. He lives to escape and create, right? Yeah. He lives to play some backyard sort of football because he really enjoys that. He thrives on it. And I think he was driving Lincoln a little crazy because there's no 1, 2, 3 gone. You know, it's not, he wouldn't throw it on time in his progression. And the problem is that they were losing games because he wasn't making enough of the easy plays. He was only making a few hard plays. So where did you end up? You went 7-5. I don't know. Are you going to go to a bowl?
Am I going to go?
But you're not.
I didn't even go to the UCLA game. Why would I go to a bowl?
There you go. Well, I don't think Caleb's going to go to the bowl because I'm pretty sure he's going to be the first pick in the draft. Okay, so you went from 11-3 last year to 7-5. And he went from 42 touchdowns a year ago to 5 interceptions to 30-5. Okay, so he was 12 short, but he still rushed for 11 rushing touchdowns. I just think he's going to be, I'll just do this, a little better player than Justin Fields. Is that fair to say? A little better?
I can't say that, Skip. I cannot agree with you on that one because it's too early in the process for either one of these two to really get a real gauge. You just mentioned how Justin, and I said this before, Justin Fields has some things, and I said it last night as I was texting back and forward with the producer. I said he has some stuff that a lot of quarterbacks, they don't have in the National Football League. And I'm not talking about being able to put the ball on the ground and run. Okay. I'm just talking about those intangibles of I did something wrong, no problem. I'm not hanging my head. Richard, I'm going to figure out how to get this done. That throw at the end, even though it was slightly behind DJ Moore on a deep in cut, that's a laser of a throw. That's a Patrick Mahomes throw that we saw the other night against, who did they lose to?
Philadelphia.
Okay. That's the same throw at the end of the game on 4th down that Patrick Mahomes tried to make to Watson, who dropped it. That's the same throw.
Right.
And by the way, that was 3rd and 10 at the Minnesota 49. So that was getting do or die.
What's getting true is when he has his feet set in the pocket and he delivers good, accurate passes most of the time. When his feet are set and he's going through his progressions and he locks in on a guy, we've seen flashes of Justin Fields looking really good as a passer. So, I mean, you just need to get him in the right situation. Maybe you need to change coordinators, maybe get more talent around him, and things will look different.
Yes, Skip, changing the coordinators, then I'm changing the staff. Because I personally, though, I probably would stick with Eberflus, stick with the coordinators, give Justin a 3rd year in the same offense, and put some stuff around him. You got to put some stuff around him, man, to lift some of the pressure off of him feeling like he has to do everything. I don't need design runs on 12 attempts. Like, what is this, Nebraska 1980? I mean, like, come on. He shouldn't be having design runs consistently like that. You just shouldn't. Okay. Not at the quarterback position.
Would you agree with me that Caleb Williams has some magic about him? Just some playmaking magic that's rare, that you haven't seen anything quite like that this side of Mahomes in pro football?
Well, you know, I'm old enough to see John Elway play, so I've seen some magic before. But in college football, it's just something. Caleb has the ability, off schedule, like you said, to be able to manipulate the defense, suck them in, throw it over their head. I mean, he has some of that. The difference, though, in college, in the pros, Skip, is you got dudes that look like Richard Sherman with them full beards and them braids and all that, driving them SUVs with car seats in the back.
Yep.
They coming to get you. Where in college, you looking at a high school dude that just left the prom. All he's doing is watching you in your magic, and he's stopping and watching you run around instead of covering his defender. So I look at it a little bit different. You're going at a different level. So some of the things that we see guys do in college, they can't necessarily do in the National Football League for a reason, because it's hard.
It is hard. But if you're the Bears, are you willing to risk passing up those 2 last year? Again, I'm still bullish on Bryce Young. You're out, but I'm in.
I think a lot of people are out.
Okay, well, I'm in. I'm way in, because I sat here for 2 long years hanging in with this kid in Philadelphia named Jalen Hurts, because I got annihilated on this show for sticking by Jalen Hurts. And now he's what's that?
Nothing, never mind. Well, I was about to say about who, but never mind.
All right, never mind.
Never mind.
But as we speak, he's the MVP favorite. So to your point, you have to hang in and let them figure it out. But Jalen came out here to Tom House out here at USC, that you know, the throwing guru, good friend of mine, and he figured out how to throw it better. He improved his delivery, his release, and ultimately, it wasn't that Jalen was inaccurate. He was inconsistent with release points and mechanics. He got his mechanics pure, and now he throws pure passes like the one that broke the game open the other day, the deep one that he threw when he ran to the sideline. But the point is, are you sure, if you're the Bears, that you want to pass on both Bryce and CJ?
Yeah, Bryce didn't fit in Chicago.
Okay.
At all.
Because of the weather.
The weather.
All right. I mean, and then do you want to pass on Caleb and the kid at North Carolina? I've watched him 4 or 5 times. I'm not impressed. I'm not there.
I'll say this. I know we got to go pay some bills, but I want to ask you this, Richard, because you cover the games on Thursday nights. Every single quarterback that's considered good in the National Football League, they got multiple receivers around them. Am I right or wrong?
You're right.
That's all I'm saying. You can look at Philly. You can look at San Francisco. You can look at Buffalo. You can look at you can look at Tua. You can look at Dak. Any quarterback has multiple receivers around them that's any good. They just do.
Right.
So,
or they got a good offensive coordinator, or they got a good offensive line, or they got all of the things, all of the above. I mean, you can't bring a kid into a bad situation with a bad offensive line, one playmaker, and be like, hey, Caleb Williams is going to solve all your problems. That's not likely to happen.
No, it's not.
okay, so you're saying that if they somehow take Marvin Harrison Jr. and give him that plus DJ, that all of a sudden he will show you that he will be a long-term better NFL quarterback than Caleb Williams?
I don't know that he'll be long-term better NFL quarterbacks. Things still got to fall in place, Skip. But what I would say is they would certainly be headed in the right direction, and Chicago Bear fans should be excited about that. Taking Caleb Williams, he's going to have the same issues. The same issues. Because if you take Caleb Williams, you either firing the coach, you keeping the coach, and then you're going to fire him next year. So now Caleb will be on his second offensive coordinator.
I think you just don't want Caleb to get stuck in Chicago.
No. Where else is he going to go?
Well, that's a good
Arizona's
question.
not going to take
No,
him.
they're not.
Okay,
I'm
so
not
the
sure.
Commanders, they like Sam Howell.
Yeah, but
You sending him to New England?
Yeah, you send him to New England? I mean, like, where is he going to go? Somebody can move up and give a handsome ransom to Chicago Bears because they want Caleb, and then Chicago can slide down and still get what they, still get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
If the Cardinals move out of that spot. I mean, because I think the Cardinals will take him at 2 if Chicago doesn't take him at 1.
Yeah.
And they should take him at 2.
Man, I wouldn't wish Belichick on any young quarterback, especially Caleb. I think that would be a match made in hell. That's just me. All right, up next, we got to talk about the game of the week. It could be the game of the year. We're talking about 49ers at Eagle. Hassan Reddick calls out the 49ers, and I love it. Here we go.
No mercy, no mercy, no mercy.
Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Do you want more highlights from the show? Make sure to click that subscribe button for all the exclusive content from Undisputed.